Alright, hi guys. So I got back from Euros earlier. It's like 1 in the morning at the minute. And yeah, it was a really fun comp. And I know I didn't upload a video yesterday, and I didn't really make a post to like say that I wasn't going to upload a video yesterday, which I normally would do. It has only been a couple of days since I missed a video, unfortunately, but that is literally just because I was really busy at Euros. So hopefully that's understandable. And the reason why I missed one yesterday, I figured I might as well talk about today, because last night it was the last day of the comp, and there was going to be an after party anyway, and it also happened to be the World Cup final. So quite a lot of people were going out into the centre of Arnhem, centre of the town, to watch, and there was going to be the after party after that, and we were, having a good time. I'd already had, by the time we'd started watching the football, I already had a glass and a half of wine, which at that point was on an empty stomach, so probably not a great decision. But I stopped myself in time, and so yeah. So after that, we watched the World Cup final, and then a couple of us, like on the way to the after party, which ended up just being a game of flanky, with like loads and loads of people. I'll be honest, I still don't really know what flanky is or how it works. I just know it's a game that's very popular in Europe, a drinking game. I think, very popular on Cubas. But yeah, so we were going to go and do that. I was going to go and watch. I wasn't going to go play. But a few people were going to do it, and on the way, it being the Netherlands, we had a couple of us had considered doing weed in some form or another, and because we thought we weren't sure if we'd have the opportunity or not, and I didn't particularly want to do it today, because I'd be travelling and all of that. And we got the opportunity last night, and we thought, yeah, why not? We're out, gonna have a bit of fun. And so someone had offered us an edible or edibles, and they said, just have one each, why not? And I, at that point, remembered probably the best piece of advice I've ever been given, which is from one of my friends, who told me that if you ever do drugs, only ever do half the amount that anyone tells you to do. And so I thought this was a good idea, obviously, because I've never done anything like this before. And so we split one in half, shared it between the two of us. It was quite frankly, it was horrible. It had a really nasty taste, that just kind of lingered in your mouth. And yeah, we did that. And again, as we were walking up to the field, someone had a joint that was being smoked, and they were offering it around, and so I had a puff of that as well. And basically, I realized I didn't have like a particular video that I wanted to upload to this channel, like that would work as a standalone, that wasn't just part of the vlog. So I figured what I might end up doing is, if like filming something at the after party. But then obviously, because we ended up doing weed, I made the very sensible decision to say that, like, as soon as anything like that got started, the vlog would stop for the day. So the vlog stopped, and no more videos were filmed. I think I took a couple of pictures, I can't remember. But yeah, that's why there wasn't a video yesterday, and I hope that's a perfectly valid reason. I think it is. So yeah, it was interesting. And I figured I might as well say at this point, like, I've been interested in doing weed and like trying something like that for a while, just just to see what it was like, basically, just for the experience. And obviously, when in Rome or Amsterdam, as as would be more appropriate, we thought we might as well try it. This was as good a time as any, and I can safely say I'm not interested in it whatsoever from that experience. Yeah, both the forms that I tried it in, like I said, left that weird sort of aftertaste in your mouth that wasn't particularly pleasant. And I know I definitely wouldn't have had really enough to make a difference at all, because like I said, I didn't want to do too much, absolutely not, because it was already quite late at that point. But yeah, half an edible was not going to do very much at all, and certainly one puff on a joint that was being smoked was not going to be a significant amount either. So I wasn't expecting much to happen, and I didn't really feel many effects. I guess that's part of it. Like, I didn't really know what I was expecting. I guess the only thing I could sort of use as a rough benchmark was alcohol, which obviously I've drunk quite a lot in the past. Not not to make it sound weird, but like I've I've been drinking alcohol for a few years now, so I get like I know my limits, and I know what being tipsy feels like. I know what being drunk feels like, and all of that. So I wasn't sure, but the only thing I could think to liken it to was maybe it's like being drunk. And so after a while, after like 15 minutes or so, um, when it was like probably going to start kicking in, I didn't really feel much like that. I didn't really feel particularly tipsy or drunk or anything like that. So I figured maybe I just had like a bit of a lower, dose, and like not enough to actually affect me or something. And that probably was still the case. And the aftertaste just kept lingering, which was really weird, and I didn't particularly like it. And then the other thing that happened was I was trying to talk to a few people at various points in the evening, and genuinely about 7 or 8 times in the middle of a sentence, I just completely lost my train of thought. I completely lost where I was going with it, what I was thinking, had to be reminded what topic we were on before I could get back into it, which is totally unlike me. That never normally happens. It certainly doesn't happen when I'm drunk. So I guess that must have been one of the sort of the effects, that it made me sort of like lose my train of thought even when I was right in the middle of it. And more than anything, that was just a bit annoying, like because there are a handful of times where I was trying to have like not like deep but like vaguely important conversations, and I wanted to like get a specific point across, and I would just forget where I was, and then like ruin the flow of like what I was saying in that. So yeah, I wasn't really sure how to feel about that, but basically like in the end, obviously I woke up this morning feeling pretty much fine. Tired, obviously, more than anything, just because we didn't have too much time to sleep, because we had to leave quite early. But like I didn't really feel any effects, and again, I'm sure this is because I didn't really have enough to cause any effects. That was a deliberate choice. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But just based on the experience I've had, I probably wouldn't do it again. I don't think I would. You know, unpleasant taste, and messing with your train of thoughts. Those are the only sort of side effects that I observed. And yeah, I don't particularly see the attraction at all. So and again, I'm sure that's a very good thing. Obviously, like don't do substances if you don't. Well, just don't do substances. But yeah, I figured I might as well have a bit of a yap about this because, as I said, none of this is going in the vlog, and so I figured this would be a good enough standalone video by itself. So yeah, that's about it for today. See you tomorrow.